Well, folks, it's another week, and that means another terrible episode of Ben After Dark. The entertainment continues from the Trump White House. President Trump has been compared to many famous people and characters over the past years. Hitler, Adolf Hitler, perhaps Hitler. But now it's finally time to throw a new name into the mix, Willy Wonka.
'Cause I've got a golden ticket. I've got a golden ticket.
Yeah, Grandpa Joe is always such a leech. Anyway, on Tuesday, the president announced a new gold card available to wealthy foreigners for just $5 million, giving them the right to live and work in the United States and opening a clear path to uncontested citizenship. Think of it like tipping your maitre d', but instead of getting a better table, you get to pour a beer onto your barbecue while wearing an American flag wrestling singlet. Little gay. Anyway, these green cards on steroids revealed at the president's first cabinet meeting of his new term will become available in about 2 weeks and are expected by experts to raise somewhere in the vicinity of $5 trillion or $5 gazillion or $5 bajaquillion. All the numbers are made up. The points don't matter. Anyway, it's all to help pay down the country's deficit or just Bruno Mars's Vegas debt so that he doesn't have to do terrible songs with Sexy Red.
Like weed, like dope, like cocaine, put it up your nose.
Now, this isn't unprecedented. Nearly 40 other countries have these invest to stay programs. But this new gold card would become the most expensive yet, which makes sense because we are the only country with a sandwich shop offering a foot-long Oreo cookie. We just can't give you that power for free. Well, back in 1990, Congress did create the EB-5 Immigrant Investor Visa Program, which offered residency to people who spent about $1 million on a business and employed at least 10 people, which in 2025 would just be a terrorist opening a Radio Shack. It needed to be pumped up, adjusted for inflation, and officials say they'll implement a strong vetting process and clean infrastructure to ensure the funds go to debt deflation, which is already a better process than what the Biden administration had in place. For those 4 years, what you had to do was pay Joe Biden's son $5 million and call him a consultant. Listen, we're just cutting out the middleman, which, as a man who loves cheap drugs, Hunter should appreciate. I, for one, am excited to see what comes out of this new program, encouraging wealthier individuals to come to our country and create jobs, or giving existing companies a bargaining chip to bring the best and brightest from abroad to their workforce. And apparently, they already have one guy in line, ready to pay for this stress-free way of re-entering the country without any questions asked. The name on his birth certificate is Groman Bolansky. Well, maybe we should get that vetting system in place.
Not American, new in town. Nice to meet you.
And if you think $5 million is a lot of money to cut a line, might I remind you, it cost $250 million to make the piece of crap film Solo a Star Wars story.
We couldn't have done this maybe like one at a time?
And now, someone is finally going to pay for that as well. After more than a decade of holding Lucasfilm hostage as their president, Kathleen Kennedy is reported to be stepping down from the position at the end of 2025.
You will not take it from me.
There is one question that remains. Who will put a chick in it and make her lame and gay?
Put a chick in it, make her gay.
Handpicked by George Lucas during the Disney acquisition of the filmmaker studio, Kennedy has slowly destroyed the Star Wars brand, year after year, endlessly, like a sarlacc digesting its inhabitants, by including story elements like a planet of lesbian witches in The Acolyte, making Lando Calrissian pansexual, and crowbarring a gay kiss into Rise of Skywalker.
That's enough.
A franchise that once made the Star Wars Holiday Special somehow found a new low.
Stir, whip, stir. Stir, whip, stir. Come on, faster all together now. Cooking can be fun. Stir, whip, stir. Stir, whip, stir. Wah!
Still better than The Last Jedi. Some of the absolute worst filmmaking happened during Kennedy's tenure with the beloved franchise. She fired multiple directors mid-production, fumbled making a Boba Fett movie, which I thought was not humanly possible, and stalled a new trilogy for Rian Johnson, a director who, while he waited for her dumb ass to call, made like 10 Knives Out movies. Now, to be fair, she was justified in not calling Rian Johnson, who is responsible for the crime against humanity that is The Last Jedi, the worst movie in modern history. A car crash in slow motion, a brutal murder scene of a film. Detective Daniel Craig should investigate that.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb, it's brilliant.
No! It's just dumb.
It should also come as no surprise that stand-up comedian turned woke watchdog Bill Burr appeared in The Mandalorian, because just like Star Wars, he's something that used to be good, but is now obsessed with virtue signaling. Bill apparently was not happy I called out his constant and obvious pandering to the left, and said he didn't know who I was, and then suggested that I verbally attacked him for money, which is kind of hilarious since his literal career is attacking people for money and then justifying literally murdering people over money. Anyway, Kathleen Kennedy would commonly blame toxic internet culture for her flubs and failures, which is about as delusional as Hilaria Baldwin still pretending to be Hispanic.
And to be there when they come home is not good. So on a human level, you guys know I'm not going to say anything to you. You know that. So please, leave my family in peace and let this all play out. Okay?
Man, that lady is as Hispanic as a Choco Taco. I, for one, am thrilled that Kathleen Kennedy will finally be stopped. Do you know how bad you have to be at your job for people to start missing Jar Jar Binks?
How rude.
I know we all hated the prequel's focus on the Trade Federation's dynamics and the long-winded explanations of inefficient bureaucratic maneuvers of the galaxy, but that was before this garbage. Folks, we'll get to more of whatever this is in a moment. First, let me tell you something. I never realized just how bad my old mattress was until I got my Helix sleep mattress. You know that feeling where you wake up and your back is already griping at you? That was me more often than not. And don't even get me started on how my old mattress turned into a heat trap at night. But since switching on over to Helix, I wake up feeling ready to take on even my busiest days and the craziest headlines. Here's what makes Helix different. They don't believe in one-size-fits-all sleep solutions. Instead, they use their sleep quiz to match you with a custom mattress based on your body type and sleep preferences. Whether you sleep hot, need extra support for your back, or share your bed with a restless partner, Helix has the perfect mattress. So again, I have to have a firm mattress. A soft mattress hurts my back, and I tend to heat up at night, so the mattress has to be breathable. Helix knows that. They gave them a mattress that works just for me. Right now, Helix is still offering an incredible President's Day deal. This deal is exclusive to my listeners, and is even better than you will find if you just visit their main website. Visit helixsleep.com/Ben to get 27% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/Ben for 27% off site-wide. Again, visit helixsleep.com/Ben for this exclusive offer. Also, after an era of open borders and high crime rates, securing the safety of your family is more important and crucial than ever. Now listen, I love the Second Amendment and a bunch of guns, but the thought of using lethal force in my home might not be ideal, which is why I checked out Berna, and you should as well. Introducing the Berna Ungun, the non-lethal self-defense platform. Lightweight, simple to use. It uses an easy-to-load 5-round magazine. It's powered by an 8-gram CO2 cartridge. Berna launchers fire a 68 caliber chemical-filled projectile using patented pull-pierce technology, where the CO2 canister is only punctured on the first trigger pull, meaning your launcher is always at the ready. It's capable of incapacitating an attacker for over 30 minutes. It's accurate and effective at over 60 feet. No permits, no background checks. It's interstate travel friendly. With Berna, you will be prepared to defend. The Berna is a safer, more sensible alternative that could potentially save lives on both sides, protecting both user and aggressor. Thanks to Berna for sponsoring this video. If you haven't yet, go check out this week's episode of Ben After Dark on Daily Wire Plus, brought to you by Berna. Again, go check out Berna right now. Their product is excellent. Check out this week's episode of Ben After Dark on Daily Wire Plus to get all the info. And while we're on the subject of well-deserved kicks to the curb, there was finally joy in Whoville as MSNBC came to their senses and canceled The Readout, a TV show as exciting as the Rose Tico scenes from literally any Star Wars movie. Host Joy Reid and her namesake show had been a cornerstone of the channel's primetime programming since 2020. Now she has been canceled thanks to low ratings and, the fact that she's absolutely unhinged. Her final program aired on Monday night, but it's never too late to look back at one of her most cringe classics, like this rant she taped on Thanksgiving of last year.
You don't want to be around me because I voted for fascism. No fair. I'm coughing on you with COVID, but you want me to wear a mask for your safety? No fair. My body, my choice. Well, here's an alternative thought. Make your own dinner, MAGA. Make your own sandwiches. Wipe your own tears. Troll amongst yourselves with Elon and leave us alone. You got your heart's desire, the president you dreamed of, and worship instead of Jesus. And this time, you didn't even have to storm the Capitol, smash the windows, or try to kill police officers or issue death threats to poll workers. See? You did it just by voting this time. Congrats. You got your way. And he even got away with breaking the law. Yay. But if you expect the 73 million who voted for the prosecutor, not the felon, and particularly the 92% of black women who voted for Kamala to give you a cookie for your vote, a trophy, a hug, a high five, you might be asking too much.
Camera death. Joy Reid's last name makes a lot of sense because every time she's on camera, she's clearly reading. The body wasn't even cold before someone started mentioning the R word. Not the one that would best describe Joy, of course.
In all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows.
Sorry, my wife tells me I snore. By the way, I just have to say about Rachel Maddow. Rachel Maddow is basically like a shirt that I own about Darth Vader, where it has the various facial expressions of Darth Vader, and happiness and anger and sadness are all the same. Rachel Maddow always has a smile that is hiding tears. I don't know why. Anyway, leave it up to Rachel Maddow to make this about race, despite the fact that Joy has been on TV for years, has been given opportunity after opportunity to become, slightly better on TV, and yet right up until her last day had the charisma of goat cheese. Well, just hours later, reports of massive staff cuts hit the Rachel Maddow show too. And that's probably also racist because she, of course, is a lesbian. It's definitely not just the network adjusting their schedule because viewership has tanked and they need to readjust or slowly wither away into a 24-hour loop of old episodes of Cheaters. The episode where the host gets stabbed on a boat is way better than anything Joy Reid has ever done, by the way. It's like peak TV.
Stop! Stay with me. I need you to stay as conscious as possible, okay?
Listen, anyone who roots for the unemployment rate to spike is a supervillain, so I would love Joy and these staffers to bounce back. I mean, I'm sure she's already moving on, putting this MSNBC debacle in the rear view, moving forward, not whining or crying or anything.
But also that my show had value and that what I was doing had value.
I mean, I do have to say, it is a little tragic that the only entertaining thing she's ever done on camera was after she was fired from MSNBC. Well, meanwhile, this past week, listeners of Alex Cooper's popular podcast, Call Her Daddy, a show that has somehow monetized repeating the words like and hundreds of times in an hour, welcomed its newest guest, Monica Lewinsky. The former White House intern turned dry cleaner's nightmare made headlines again, now telling Cooper that former President Clinton should have resigned when their affair went public. In addition to this fairly lukewarm take, she felt his lying about the situation only threw a young person just starting out in the world, her, under the bus. Which is weird, because if Bill Clinton is trying to silence someone, it wouldn't be under a bus, it would be in their car off the George Washington Parkway. Well, the interview couldn't have come at a worse time for Bill Clinton, who's been mentioned quite a bit during this great Elon Musk scare, because despite mainstream media's insistence that what Doge is doing with federal jobs is unprecedented evil, Clinton's reinventing government bill, where more than 400,000 federal positions were axed, did kind of the same thing. That is correct. Bill Clinton was not just the first guy to make a cigar disappear in the Oval Office. He also made hundreds of thousands of superfluous federal jobs go away forever, just like Ellen Page. Hilariously, with this plan, the Democrats didn't actually save any money because they turned around and hired contractors to then do the same jobs, negating all savings. Anyway, with this podcast released and Monica Lewinsky back on the front page, it's not like things could go any worse for former President Clinton, right? Oh no, when it rains, it pours for the former hornball in chief. Well, it's been yet another episode of Ben After Dark. Enjoy it, didn't enjoy it, doesn't matter. We're at the end. We'll see you again later.